Whoa, I forgot to put my earpieces in here. Welcome back, everyone, to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast. Sorry about that. I forgot to put my earpieces in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate people that tune in and listen. Today, I'm going to be talking about, we got a lot of, Bobby C. It's Bobby C as Bobby C sees it. You may not buy everything I'm saying. You might not believe what Bobby C's saying. It's okay. We can still be friends. We don't have to believe 100%. We can disagree, and we don't have to buy everything that everybody says. But I listen to a lot of people. I don't buy everything, but I take what I want, and I put it in my bag of what resonates with me, and I check things out. This podcast is going to be very controversial because I got a lot of on my, don't forget to join Anonymous Addiction, My Truth About AA, as Bobby C sees it, private group on Facebook, because a lot of this stuff is coming. I posted a lot of things about the new 5th edition of Alcoholics Anonymous. It didn't come out yet. I don't think it came out yet. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, he's in Alcoholics Anonymous. He's been around for about 30 years in the program. I still talk to him. He's a good friend of mine. We don't talk about steps and all that other stuff. We talk about our lives and his daughter and his new grandbaby and where he's traveling to. We have a lot in common. So he called me up and he said, "Hey, Bobby, I know, you're not into any of this, but the 5th edition's coming out and they're going to be talking about changing the language in it, and here's what it says." So I looked it up. I called Intergroup today, the central office over there in Long Beach. I'm over here in California. I'm at the West Coast. He didn't know anything about it. He looked it up. He can't see it on Amazon yet, but it's going to be coming out. I know it's probably been approved, and they talked about it a few years later. A few years ago. And this is the language that they're going to be putting in. It says, the plain language translation of an abridged version of the Big Book is being developed to make the message more accessible to a wider audience. The goal is to create a version that is relatable and accessible to readers at a 5th grade reading level. Now, I said Alcoholics Anonymous is losing membership, okay? Even my friend told me. He said, "Bobby, I think they're printing new books because they're losing membership and they got to bring in some more money." Yes, they do. And I'll get to that because I'll show you the stats, and I'll talk about Gregory Tobin, who is the CEO and president in Alcoholics Anonymous. He makes $356,000. So I'm going to just tie some things together. I always say it's a puzzle. Put the pieces together, connect the dots, follow the money, connect the dots. I've been doing research for the last, forever actually. Since I was born, I've been researching through experience. But I've been doing really in-depth research for the last 6 years. So I accumulate a lot of different information, probably that other people don't, because they're just going to meetings or they just left Alcoholics Anonymous and they're not really interested in the workings and the makings of the history of the master puppets who control. I just posted something, Rockefeller, he's got the master puppet. He's got Bill Wilson. He used him as a little puppet, and the puppet, all the other puppets are the members. Master puppet, Bill Wilson, and all the members. I just posted that out. But Gregory Tobin makes $356,000 a year. Gregory is the editor, publisher, journalist, and author. Executive publishing industry in New York for 20 years. Okay, they hired him a long time ago. He's the senior vice president editor of Ballantine Books, Grapevine. That's where all the money's made, besides all the donations and giving your house away and donating your cars and sending in money and leaving wills to Alcoholics Anonymous. The donate button is crazy in Alcoholics Anonymous. So he was appointed editor of the, here's the tie-in. Here's where I'm going to tie this into the Catholic Church. He's appointed editor of the Catholic Advocate, Roman Catholic Archdiocese of New Jersey. He's the chief executive there. Okay. It ties right in. 25 million multi-division organization that translates, publishes, distributes AA literature, manages AA's intellectual properties and licensing in more than 100 languages, and provides information about AA to AA groups and the general public. AA Grapevine, Inc. Just going to set that aside. He is connected with the Catholic Church. Now, I said, Bobby, why do you bring in the Catholic Church? I'm going to title this The Hijacking of Children's Minds. You know, here's a Jesuit priest. Here's a prayer. A Jesuit priest, Ignatius. Okay. He wrote this prayer. Let's see if I could find it here. Let's see here. Where's that prayer at? Oh, here it is. Lord, receive all my liberty. Take all my memory, all my understanding, and all my will. Take it all that I have in possession. I give it to you. You gave it to me. Now I'm giving it over to you. Now, doesn't that sound like giving your will and your life over to the care of God, AA, amends, restitution? Now, he said that give me a child till he is 7 years old. Now, he said this is ancient wisdom. He said, give me a child till he is 7 years old, and I will show you the man. In other words, they will shape a person, male, female. Back then, they'll shape a person from birth till 7. That's when the true indoctrination can happen. Now, people say, Bobby, that's not what they're doing with this new edition. Well, first of all, there's Alateen, Al-Anon, young people in Alcoholics Anonymous special groups. But the Alateen, people are bringing their babies to Alateen. They're bringing their babies to meetings. It's a family disease. So they've always been indoctrinating the family. They've always been indoctrinating the children. Generational, through different generations. Here's what I'm getting at with the church. Okay. Now, my mother, this is how, through the parents, generational indoctrination through the parents. My mother, when I was born, was indoctrinated. When I was born, I had baptism. Not soon after I was born, weeks, maybe a month. They told my mom, you better baptize your children, because if they die without baptism, they're going to go to hell or in purgatory. So it scared the shit out of my mom. So I was indoctrinated. I did catechism classes. Second grade. 7, 8 years old, when they all considered to have reached the age of reason. Traditional ritual. It was a ritual with the these are rituals that I grew up with. So I know rituals of the Catholic Church. I know how to relate it, what's going on in Alcoholics Anonymous, Matt Talbot retreats. I know about society and the programming and indoctrination of society, how Rockefeller controlled, hijacked, manipulated, designed, and controlled Alcoholics Anonymous from the beginning. Catechism. I went there for a couple of years. I had to learn the act of contrition in catechism, because if I didn't learn that, I couldn't do the communion. I'll tell you, this is what I had to learn as a kid. Oh my God, I'm heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins for the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all, because I offend thee, my God, who is all good and all deserving of all my love, I firmly resolve with the help of the grace to confess my sins, do penance, and to amend my life. Amen. Does that sound familiar? Catholic Church, Alcoholics Anonymous. I had to recite that because the second thing I had to do was take my communion. These are sacraments of the Catholic Church. It's the second sacrament. Communion. I had to have my communion, with the little white, all my white clothes, my white tie, my white suit, my pants, my shoes. I had to go up there and do my confirmation. 7th, 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 2nd grade. Just to fill you in, I failed 2nd grade. So the things I'm going to be talking about, the indoctrination of a child, I'm going to switch back, and there was some comments because of the thing that I wrote about this new 5th edition and why I see the rewriting of it. First of all, you can get a big book anywhere. You could go to any Goodwill or any bookstore and get one for $1 or free. They're all over the place. It's only 164 pages. Plus, people say, people make statements like, I'm not sure it's targeting 5th grade, but it is preying on less literate, more vulnerable population, which comes as no surprise. There's not what I say. The vast majority of adults in the country do not read above a 4th and 5th grade level. They're trying to reach these adults. I failed 2nd grade because of my reading. I know today, but I didn't. My parents didn't know back then. I had dyslexic. I was dyslexic. Dyslexia. I couldn't comprehend. As soon as it went on the board, she was erasing it, and I couldn't even comprehend it. I was lost. Talk about reading ability. My reading ability was, hey, look, 40 years ago, they didn't have the internet. And 164 pages, I could read this. And if I couldn't, I'd look it up in a dictionary. I mean, I look it up. Yeah, you had to look the words up in dictionaries. Okay. And I did. If you look through all my pages, all these pages, there's written explanations of some words. You know, I looked them all up. I looked up all the words. Osmosis, I looked it up. I looked up different words that I didn't really understand what they meant. You know, codified. The word codified, to make a systematic arrangement. You know, I looked up the words. So if we want to use that excuse that they're doing this to get the illiterate, okay, I agree they're rewriting it, first of all, because they're going to make so much more money with the new book. That's how they make their money, through donations and the grapevine, new books. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. Okay. This newest one in the 5th edition is they're going to be millions of members all over the world. They're going to be selling this book and making that much more money. Matter of fact, a friend of ours, she wrote in here, Monica. Everyone knows Monica. She was the producer of the film, the 13 Step film. Been in many years. Me and her did a couple podcasts. We're going to hopefully get together and do another one. She wrote, they did this in the 1960s when the membership was really flatlining. They came to my Catholic grade school and they spoke to the 6th and 7th and 8th graders. Yeah, they didn't change the book, but they did their indoctrination right to the Catholic Church. Let me continue on with my indoctrination. 7th grade, I had to do my first Holy Communion. My first Holy Communion. Okay, I had to learn that because you had to go into that little box, that confession box, and after you went in there and confessed your sins, you had to do the act of contrition, and then the priest would absolve you of your sins, which is a crock of you know what. Okay, just like Alcoholics Anonymous is going to absolve you of this so-called disease called alcoholism, and by going to AA and have a daily reprieve for the rest of your life, that's the cure. Catholicism, confirmation, then confirmation, one of the 7 sacraments. That's another sacrament. Confirmation. I had to go confirmation because I had to get somebody to stand for me. Okay, when you reach the next level, I was 12 years old, probably 11 years old. Okay, one of my mother's family members, he stood up for me. I think his name was Carmen. Okay, he stood up. Your confirmation sponsor will stand with you as you are confirmed. Your sponsor says your sponsor. Your sponsor should be a confirmed Catholic and at least 16 years older. It's not your godparents. They're standing up for you. Okay. Anybody that went to Catholic Church, Catholic religion, kind of understands this. So the act of contrition, this is all from age, from birth, baptism, Holy Communion, confirmation, catechism, until I was in 4th and 5th grade. And then I left. Then we moved. I had to go into that little box, little booth, confess my sins, just like in Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'm tying this in, if you follow me, hopefully, because I bounce all over the place. And let's get to some of these questions here. This is one. I think you're destroying the potential impact of your advocacy work with statements like AA is targeting 5th graders. Well, let's just use a different language. If they're targeting younger people, people say they're doing it because we're so uneducated and illiterate that we read at a 5th grade, 4th and 5th grade, 5th and 6th grade level. I don't buy that. Man, I'll tell you what, they call them newcomers, but new people that come in Alcoholics Anonymous, they're no dummies. They're no dummies. I would compare myself to a dummy compared to some of the people that come in. They're not dumb. It's for money. It's for money. Yeah, and they want to, what are they saying? What are they saying? Yeah. The goal is to create a version that is relatable and accessible to readers at the 5th grade level. Developed to make the message more accessible to a wider audience. Well, we all know that this antiquated book, it's only 164 pages. We know that. We know it's antiquated, but the big book, the steps, 12 steps, still going to be there. 12 traditions, still going to be there. 12 concepts, still going to be there. Look up the symbolism for 12, 12, 12, and 12. It's relatable to all spiritual religions. 12, 12, and 12. 12 apostles. Big. Let's see. I got another here. Oh, hey, I got some questions. It says, this is to me. Oh, I see you got a better program than AA. I'm going to answer some questions. Oh, I see you got a better program than AA. Yes, yes, I do. It's mine. It's my program. It's as Bobby C sees. It's the best program you could have. After all, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. You're doing it. The solution is you. We are the solution. It's a placebo effect in the sense that you give credit over, just like in the Catholic Church. You know, if you don't do this, we're going to go in the afterlife. Well, in AA, it's this life. You're going to die, institutions, jail, or death in this life. Okay. So, how many people, millions of people follow you, and how many millions of people have you kept sober? First of all, AA keeps no one sober. I keep myself sober. And he's curious, how many millions of people have you kept sober? None. Maybe I helped somebody, hopefully. But the main thing is I'm helping myself. Question is, how many have you? I could put these questions back on you. So let me see if I could go real quick to my YouTube channel here and look up this one comment that I want to talk about. Let's see if we can get it quick here. Go to the videos. Go to my last video. It was on my last video. Go to the comments, questions. Okay. Paul asked me, hello, thought I'd see though I see your points on many issues with Alcoholics Anonymous, it is really wise is it really wise to denigrate and defame the organization to that extent? Uh, Denigrate, defame. All I'm doing is sharing some things that I've discovered throughout the years, throughout my life, which is, I'm pretty old, and throughout all the years, over 30 years that I spent in program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm exposing what I think is helpful to people. Now, you may see it as I'm harming people. I see it as I'm helping people. It's all in the perspective of the mind. He says, were you not a part of it for many, many years? Yes, many, many years. If they were truly so hurrious and monstrous, you seek to defame them as, Then why did you stay in so long? Well, actually, back 40 years ago when I came in, that was the only game in town. That's no excuse, but these are excuses. I'll say some excuses, I guess. You can call them excuses, and I don't care if you call them excuses or not. It doesn't matter. Uh, I learned a bunch of stuff because I went outside the program. I went to CODA, I went to ACOA, I went to special groups, I went to one-on-one counseling. It wasn't Alcoholics Anonymous. I did group therapy. I read different types of books, stuff like that. I got into a lot of different holistic practices. And so I went outside the program. Alcoholics Anonymous Triangle. I call it Alcoholics Anonymous Triangle. I went outside the triangle, the 12-step paradigm. And I discovered a lot of different things. So I kept going in because I made a lot of friends. I made some good friends. And I did a lot of different things. I traveled. The friends that I hung with, we didn't talk about Alcoholics Anonymous. We went to meetings together sometimes, but we went to lunches. We hung out with their families. We talked about life. We traveled and we did a lot of fun stuff together. I stayed in for, the fellowship. One thing that they have still going for them, Alcoholics Anonymous, and we have to step this up, people, is that they still have face-to-face meetings, okay, which is, I think, needed. I could use some, okay, not Alcoholics Anonymous, but I don't want to call them meetings. I don't even like to call them groups, meetings, but I'm going to be starting up something. I hope somebody join me in around, I live in Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach, California, Southern California, Orange County. Just message me or go to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast and DM me. I'm on Facebook. So they got it. They got it going. I'll tell you. This is a well organized machine. It's it's huge still. And they will change anything they have to change to keep the membership growing. These agnostics and atheists, they started their own groups in the AA. They thought they were going to split off and, they're going to do something so special because they're taking the word God out of the big book. Okay. The 12-step paradigm is still continuing. I wish they would separate completely from Alcoholics Anonymous, but they choose to stay in. So, yeah, let's see what else he says here. Many people have attributed decades of sobriety with the assistance of the fellowship. Yeah, they have. They do because and guess what? It works if you work it. They worked it. They want it. They want to stay clean and sober. Or, use the word. They want to live an alcohol and free lifestyle. That's their choice, and they achieve it because they want it. They're doing it. Has nothing to do with. They could be anywhere if they wanted it and still achieve it. Okay. Such continued attacks on them could endanger lives. Now, I don't have that power. I don't have that much power. Okay. Because you believe what I'm saying is endangering. That's your perception, your reality. I believe I'm helping. That's my perception. That's my reality. Okay. So, no, I'm not harming anybody. I don't have that power. People can make excuses and say, oh, I listened to Bobby and I went out and drank. Come on, does that make any sense? People, and look, I was in Alcoholics Anonymous for so many years, I heard everything. Okay, there's nothing I haven't heard. Okay, why did you go out and drink or drug? Oh, I didn't do the first step properly. Oh, I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't do this. I didn't do the sixth step. I skipped on my fourth step. Um, I didn't go to enough meetings. Meeting makers make it. I excuses after excuses after excuses. You can use me as an excuse. Matter of fact, use me as an excuse. When you go back and say, I listened to Bobby C on one of his podcasts and I went out and drank and drove. Go ahead, Paul. I mean, these are questions from Paul. And I respect his questions. Uh, Such attacks on them could endanger lives. I don't buy that. First of all, any more guilt, fear, and shame? Mm-mm. I'm not accepting the guilt anymore. I don't feel guilty about what I'm doing. I don't feel any shame in what I'm doing. Okay. Uh, I don't have any fear of what I'm doing. All right. You may. No one can put guilt on me. I have to take it upon myself. I have to accept it. So I'm giving it to myself. No one can make me feel guilty. I can feel guilty, but it comes from me. I can feel shameful. And there's some things that there's some good shame, you know, I guess, but let's see what else Paul has to say here. Is alcohol not truly evil and lethal substance? Yes, I talk about it on my podcast. It's the most deadliest drug in the world. Okay, it's it is to me. This is to me what I see going on in the world. My observation is real. It's what I see is not. It's not fake. I'm not making something up. It's statistics. It's a carcinogen poison. And are you going to die drinking? No. The alcohol industry wants you to drink because they know it's addictive. Just like the sugar industry, the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry owns most of the food products that put the sugar in. The tobacco industry knows when you're smoking vape, when you're vaping, you're smoking, it's addictive. The pharmaceutical industry knows that when you're taking the medications and the pills, when you're on some of the psych meds and you're on different types of medication, oxycodines or whatever you pharmaceutical medicine you ingest, they know they're addictive. They know they're creating customers, just like Alcoholics Anonymous with their new book and their new fifth addiction. They're going to create more customers. It's a recruiting mechanism. Are they targeting young people? Yes. Generations of young people. Yes. Let's see. I don't know where I wrote the. Huh. Let me see where I wrote this. Oh, here we go. So getting back to the wisdom of the Jesuit Brotherhood priest that said, "Give me a child till he was 7 years of age, and I'll show you the man." In other words, they'll mold. That's their thing. Birth to 7, they can mold you, shape you, indoctrinate you. So the combination of neuroscience today, this is in marketing. This is in marketing. Neuroscience evidence is a powerful and old and one marketing department. The combination of the old ancient wisdom, knowing from birth to 7, to the new marketing, global marketing, they have billions of dollars. Their budgets are billions of dollars. They can and they can access to infants' minds through the mass media, can groom the under 7 generational global profit for the future. Give a marketer access to children till they're 7. Yes, and show future generations of super consumers. They don't want a cure. Do they want cures? No, they want everybody to be sick so they can have customers, not cures. Yeah, so the marketing, neuroscience, and the old ancient wisdom of this birth to children. That goes back to me, birth, baptism, first Holy Communion. confirmation, getting me from age birth to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They constantly continue. It's just like the family disease. Okay. The parents, it's the parents. Parents will indoctrinate the children because they're indoctrinated. So let's see what else he has. Let's see what else Paul asked me a question. Let's see. Is an organization seeking to save lives via sobriety truly such a menace and spiteful fellowship as you postulate? Postulate. I'd have to look that up. Postulate, what means, I guess, expounding on my constantly talking about it and what I spew out of linguistic speech. Um, Seeking to save lives via sobriety, truly such. It's look, it's subtle, subliminal osmosis. Yeah, they want to continue to indoctrinate, enslave these people that they're claiming that this addiction, the, the addiction industry. First of all, I call it the addiction recovery app trap. That's the newest thing, the app trap. Okay, new apps, because no one wants to do personal one-on-ones anymore. They want to do via the internet, via Zoom is the new thing, Zoom. And is it so spiteful, fellowship? That's for you to decide. I'm just bringing out some things that I've discovered. That's for you to decide. If you want to stay in, if you want to give your life and will over to the care of AA for the rest of your life, through fear, guilt, and shame, then that's your choice. I believe in the freedom and power of choice. That's your choice. That was my choice when I came in. It was my choice that I drank. It was my choice that I stayed in. It was my choice. I became addicted, and it was my choice to stop. I chose to went in AA. I chose to go to meetings. I chose to get in my car. I chose to buy buy a big book. I chose to read it. I chose to get a sponsor. I chose to wherever. I chose to exit. I chose to deprogram. I chose to exit out of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I choose different things today. It's my choice, power of choice. So I'm going to stop there, everybody. I appreciate touching base. And don't forget to subscribe. Check me out over Anonymous Addiction. My Truth About AA is Bobby CC's a private group on Facebook. And like it if you like. If not, take care. Let's see where I can pause this here. Stop recording.